Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 282SB. This is a saddle threshold elevator. An elevator is an accessory or a component that you would use in an overall assembly. And an elevator allows you to literally elevate a distance from a floor, perhaps to the bottom of a threshold, when you are either looking to, most likely you're looking to navigate an uneven floor surface. So what that means is that you might have a saddle threshold. Well, the issue is that you have an offset flooring condition, and that offset flooring condition might be equal to the distance from the bottom of the elevator to where the lip of your threshold would sit. And in this case, it's probably a 1/4 inch. It is, indeed. So from the bottom here to where your threshold would sit would be a 1/4 inch. And that threshold would sit right inside of here and allow you to transition over that unusual floor condition. And that's what an elevator does. This happens to be just a 6-inch sample piece of this material. This is the 282. That's representative of this profile. The dimensional properties of this profile are overall width, about 15/16. They call it 1 inch. Looks a little shy to me. Not really, it's 1 inch. 1 inch is good. Has an overall height here of 1/4 inch. That's the effective size that you're working with. Probably hold it like this. Okay. Has an overall height. I'd say that we'd be closer to about, they don't tell us what the overall height is. Probably about 5/16. Likely 3/8. Let's put the caliper on it just so that we know. The dimension's not super critical, but we can determine it. Yeah, 5/16, 0.331. Then the overall, we've got the height, the overall width, and then the effective dimension of this being an extension would be, so that's a 1/4 inch. So it's basically 3/4 inch from here to the leading edge. So this is going to effectively add 3/4 inch to the width of whatever you're working on. It's very common, and I'm actually working on a project now, condo buildings, where they have really unusual floor conditions going from the flooring, the concrete slab in the hallway, to the transition or flooring that's in the living space itself. Tile, hardwood, carpet, whatever it might be. You're always going to have some weird flooring condition there, most likely. Sometimes it's not a big deal. This project I'm working on now for a condo building in Fort Lauderdale, there's 177, well, there's more than that, but the apartment units, the unit doors are 177, and we've got everything from the requirement of a 3/4 undercut to a 5/8 undercut, all the way to a 2-inch undercut. So what the client's attempting to figure out how to do, what we're looking to figure out how to do, is transition from this extreme offset. And there's no easy solution for that because it's such a huge step. An elevator is not going to solve a radical problem like that, but it is meant to help solve or navigate smaller size differential problems. And Pemko does make this in different sizes, heights in terms of elevators. I don't know how many they have available in a solid bronze-based material, but we'll look at that. This is the MB. It's a B part number. It's a 282B, but it's left raw, and that's why we call it MB for mill finish. This is going to be streaky. This is going to be discolored. This is going to look exactly like it looks here and now. Be mindful, if you're ordering something mill, it's not going to be finished at all. It's going to be literally raw, the way that it was extruded at the mill, the way it was manufactured. Onto this, you can do a satin brass finish, a polished brass finish. You can do an oil rubbed finish. Because of the base material, you can technically do lots of things. And why someone would choose a solid bronze or brass, we can call it brass, but it's architectural bronze, component over something made of aluminum is, first and foremost, the outright durability of such a threshold. You'll have a threshold made of bronze. You can expect it to last decades. I've seen them installed, and they're several decades old, several decades. extreme high traffic applications. The front doors of the City Hall in the city of Chicago have all bronze thresholds. And the kind of traffic that gets just on an hourly basis would be an epic amount during business hours. You might also be building a $6 million house, and on a $6 million house you probably won't use a $60 threshold, is the logic. So you might use the base material just so that it's in proportion to the greater scope of the entire project. But durability is really why. 1. 2, the project might call for it. 3, you can't get a polished brass finish on anything. There is no polished brass finish on any other product when it's not made of a brass base material. That's going to be an exceptionally beautiful finished product. You might want that true finish. You might want mill because you want it to age or patina naturally with time. A third of the time we sell something like this, 100% of the time we sell a mill threshold unless the client is in the know or understands exactly what they're ordering. We'll go through the process of explaining what it is. I had a client call me one time and say that this threshold he received was damaged. There's no damage at all. And I wasn't aware of the order. The client just ordered it online. And I looked at the order. I says, well, what's wrong with it? He says, it's discolored. Well, are there any dents or scratches or damage of that nature? No, not at all. It's just discolored. Well, you ordered a mill threshold. It was a $1,000 mill threshold. And the client was aghast that anyone would want such a thing. It turns out that mill is extremely common because we want it to age in patina. Someone wants it to look 100 years old or older. We were able to get the manufacturer to agree to receive that threshold back and then do the satin finish on it that the client actually thought he was getting, charged the difference, or charged for that service, I should say, and then got that shipped back to the client. So be mindful. Mill is raw, it's streaky, it's unfinished. Some will call it discolored because it is. This very 6-inch piece that I have in my hand is definitely not a uniform finish. Let's switch to the screen view now and let's take a closer look at some supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here's the item that we are indeed looking at. Just a small little elevator that's here. Dimensional properties of this item. This says satin brass. By the time you're seeing this, well, by the time you may be seeing this video, the mill brass will be added to the site. Designed to raise the height of a saddle threshold, elevators can also be used to make a custom threshold for a special offset application or condition. Elevators are secured by the weight of the saddle threshold they support. They're not screwed down at all, or generally not. I don't believe long-term there would be any trouble with that. I've never heard of that. I would use my best judgment as to whether or not I thought some additional measures would need to be taken, perhaps welding it together or maybe securing it by some other means. Can be welded upon request. Additional charge for welding will apply. That is incorrect. We'll have that repaired by the time you're seeing this as well. So let's take a look at some images that we have of the 282. That's just a cross-section of the item. Another view showing that 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. You can very clearly see how this is discolored. That's normal. That's typical. That's what it's going to look like. You know, technically, because it's made of solid bronze, it's a close-up view of that streaky nature to it. You could have this powder coated. You could have it plated. I don't know if plating would be a great idea, but it could be done. It's solid. The industry term for this is architectural bronze. That's an amalgamation of 4 primary base materials. On the street, it's just called brass. You can easily call it brass. There is only one alloy used for this sort of material. It's an alloy that is appropriate for use in hardware. It's an alloy that's appropriate for the application, to be durable, to be capable of handling what it's asked to do. It's also an alloy that's conducive to the manufacturing process, availability, things of that nature. There are many, many alloys of bronze, brass, etc., of which I am certainly no expert, but there is a common alloy that's used for threshold use. Now, let's talk about where this is going to be used, and then I'll show you in the catalog some options. So where it's going to be used. You've got some offset flooring condition. Okay. And you're not sure what to use. You could just use a saddle threshold like this and then come with your elevator. That could be a pretty fair use of this material. That's what an elevator does. Okay, kind of disguises that fact. The issue, though, is you've only got so much height here that can be tolerated. Like in this project that I have with this client, he has an exceptional dimension. Some are 2-inch over here. From here to here is 2-inch. And my recommendation is that we bring the doors here, put in a 1/2-inch threshold here, and then literally get large pieces of 8-quarter lumber and cut them to give yourself a transition like this. The issue is that these openings are fire rated, and there is a large offset threshold that has a vinyl insert in it. Sorry for the poor drawing. That's a vinyl insert is what I'm trying to draw here. And it's like 1.5 inches overall height. But the client would need to rip that leg off and take all of this portion and install it here. Well, it's no longer fire rated. And I can't, these all 177 are fire rated openings. I can't advise the client to modify that threshold, even though that's exactly what he's pulling out. Thresholds that have been ripped down like that. What the client elects to do, or better said, if the client were to get approval from the authority having jurisdiction, then you would be in good shape. But my suggestion is everything, the door, the threshold, needs to all be fire rated. If you put some ramp transition in front because it's not underneath the door, I don't think you'll have a problem there. So that's what an elevator is for. Let's take a look at the link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page. When we click on that, and when that page loads, we'll be able to pull up the Pemko full line product catalog. Let's fire that up and then do a find function on your keyboard for 282. And there's going to be lots of matches, so just cycle through that until we get to the elevator page, and I just scrolled past it. Yikes. I could have just searched elevator, which I'm going to do. Okay, elevators. Currently on page, well, it's on page 131 of this current catalog, which I don't know the year of the book. But just search elevator, and here you are, 282. The different finishes. What's interesting is they don't have the B listed here at all. A 1/2 inch tall elevator, you can do that in architectural bronze. 1.25 and a 3/4 inch wide version. Actually, all of them are available in solid bronze or brass base material. So these different profiles will work together to, will collude to give you the best sort of option. Fasteners are not included and are not required with these shapes when used in conjunction with a threshold. Allow for custom sizing and offset conditions. So that's what these are for. Different types are here as well. 2 different base materials, aluminum and the bronze base material. In this general section of the catalog, you will see sister or related products to it as well. When it comes to solving custom problems with thresholds, you're really just limited by your imagination, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is this is aluminum or it's bronze. It can all be welded together. The factory can cut, they can weld, they can create custom shapes. And while there's always a sizable charge involved in that, you can get exactly what you need to solve the problem. One unique thing about Pemko is that they have the greatest diversity of available products from when comparing them to all other manufacturers, and when it comes to weather stripping. thresholds, gasketing, things of that nature. Also on that manufacturer's page, you'll be able to pull up not only all of the Pemko products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. In conclusion, if you have any questions on the Pemko 282 in a mill brass finish elevator or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. We don't sell solid brass material often, and it's because of the cost, and because, you know, the applications just don't arise as much as every other application arises. When you've got a condo building of 170 units, they're not putting solid bronze thresholds there, generally, that I'm aware of. But it's the durability of the product why you would see this. There is, I'm here in Naples, Florida. There is a hotel in town that has I don't know, 20 exterior pairs of doors, 6080, surface vertical rod exit devices, pivots, closers, thresholds. It's all polished brass. All the hardware, the closer covers, the arms, the exit devices, the pivots, that's all plated. Well, no, that's not true. It's all polished with a lacquer on it. But no one touches the closer. No one touches the pivots. The panic devices get touched often. But the thresholds, they are constantly polishing that material. And every time you walk through those openings, they've been attended to. And that's one advantage of this material. If you were to polish this, yeah, this is going to be so reflective that you'll see yourself in it, quite frankly. And I think it's when people want that sort of base materials when they're looking at solid bronze. Any questions on the 282 or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.